Action.
With you.
Hey!
Hi. No.
It's so awkward.
Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
This is not gonna work.
It will work. We're gonna make this. This doesn't go on the very
You've
end.
ruined it now. Okay.
Look at the larva.
Okay. Stop. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey!
I'm Haley, and this is my husband, Cody.
Heyo.
And we have lost a total combined weight of 185 pounds since starting the low-carb ketogenic lifestyle back in April of last year. So we're coming up on our year mark, and we get a ton of people who ask us how we did this, kind of what our journey was, and what keto is exactly to us. I will say that we don't follow strict keto rules, and we kind of have based this on what works for us. So please do not take everything as strict keto, what we're teaching you, because we definitely don't follow strict keto rules. But obviously what we've done worked for us, and it could work for you as well if this is something that you think may work for you.
This is our keto, not so keto, but kind of keto low-carb diet.
It's worked. But we've had to adapt and kind of, make it work for us, which obviously you can do the same. I'm going to kind of give you all a backstory of why we started, kind of what led us to starting this in the first place. It's kind of personal for us, and not many people know our entire backstory as to why we did this, but I figured I might as well share just in case there is anybody else maybe going through a similar situation. So April of last year, Cody and I have been trying to conceive for about 2 years, and we decided that we needed to ask for help and try to see exactly what was going on and maybe where the problem was. So we both were pretty overweight, obviously.
That was nearly 400 pounds.
Yeah.
I started this at 377.
Yeah. And I hate even saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways. I got up to almost 260 pounds. So it just happened. And when you get married and you're happy,
Super.
we both were obviously very happy. So it happened, and we're not proud of it. But
I still love you anyway.
yeah, you did. I love you too. Anyways, so I went to the gynecologist, and my doctor had pretty much mentioned to me that PCOS may be a reason as to why we weren't conceiving. So she referred me to an endocrinologist, and she ran my blood work. So what she got back was that my insulin wasn't working properly, pretty much meaning that I had pretty much screwed up my insulin levels from eating so badly for so long, and that my body was no longer producing insulin correctly, meaning I was also pre-diabetic. So that was a huge shock for me. I called him after I left the doctor's office, and he was not very happy about it and was actually really worried for me. So the doctor was actually the reason why we started this lifestyle. She had actually suggested to me that we do keto with also intermittent fasting, which we'll explain that in just a second. But the first thing we did, she kind of given me some pointers. She didn't really explain to me fully what keto was, but she had told us to go home and research it and see if that's something that would work for us. And my follow-up would be in 6 months to come back and see her and see my blood work. So I pretty much came home, and we talked about it, and Cody was like, we're going to do whatever it takes to change our life, and we're going to do it together. And honestly, if he weren't to do it with me, it would have been very, very hard for me to do it alone. So if you're a couple or married or dating, or try to get your partner to do it with you, it makes it a lot easier. It definitely helped us to be able to continue and keep each other accountable, etc. Now, not saying that you can't do it alone, because obviously you can. But for me, it's
very important to have that support system with your spouse or whoever else, or even your friends. Shoot, join a keto, not so keto, but kind of keto, low carb diet club.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those things that we gained the weight together. We had bad habits together. We did everything wrong together. So for him to do it, yeah, for him to do it with me, it definitely helped a lot. Shut up. Anyways, so I pretty much went back in 6 months after we did this, and my blood work came back completely normal. She said I did not need a follow-up, which was huge. So I can tell you that what we did, it works, and I feel so much better and happier and healthier. Same for Cody. I mean, he looks awesome.
Oh, you look awesome, babe.
Thanks. But yeah, so pretty much what is keto?
So I guess basically what it is most of us are on a carb diet, so you're actually getting your energy from carbs. So with keto, you're actually going to switch that over to fats. So now your body's no longer living off of carbs, you're gonna be living off of fats.
Yeah, so you're gonna, instead of your body burning carbs for fuel, your body, when you go into ketosis, will start burning fat instead of carbs. So that's kind of what ketosis is as well. We did our own research, which that's what we suggest to you, is to research it as much as you can. It'll teach you a lot. Watch a lot of videos. There's tons out there, and that's just kind of how we taught ourselves as far as what keto is.
I also think it's important to maybe consult with a doctor before actually moving forward with this diet. I mean, it's not required, but it's just a suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, if you have certain health issues or concerns, you would definitely probably want to talk to your doctor first before doing keto, because I will say going into ketosis was probably one of the most shocking things my body's ever gone through, and it was hard for me personally. Not as bad for Cody, but it was really hard for me, just because I'll explain more of that in a second as far as how I felt and what it made me feel like personally, which it's not going to be the same for everybody, but that's just kind of how it was for me. So the doctor has suggested intermittent fasting, which pretty much there's different ways that you can do it. There's different levels you can fast for, or I wouldn't say levels, but there's certain lengths of time you can fast for, I guess, once you work your way up to it. But she has suggested starting out with eating during an 8-hour window. So that would be from like 12 to 8 p.m. during the day, or 11 to 7, kind of how you want to do it. But pretty much eating only during that window, and then allowing your body to pretty much go into a fast for about 16 hours.
So basically just skip breakfast.
Yeah. So we started that, and it kind of helped to kind of kickstart the keto, like the ketosis process for us. We lost a lot of water weight when we started doing the fasting. It also helped to curb a lot of our cravings and our appetite, where in the beginning it's a struggle to go from eating carbs so much to literally cutting them down to almost nothing. So the intermittent fasting, I would say, was a lifesaver for us. It also helps you to lose weight a lot faster.
And you get to have big meals, so it's wonderful. You actually feel full by the time you finish.
Right. Because, yeah, you get to kind of eat bigger meals instead of, because you're only technically eating like 2 large meals during that 8-hour window. You actually get to eat more, and for me, it helped me to feel a little more satisfied and not starving. So if you eat a larger meal at night, then obviously you can probably last until 12 o'clock the next day. That's just kind of how it worked for us. But I would highly suggest intermittent fasting, even if you don't really want to start keto yet, but maybe you can try intermittent fasting just to kind of start out and then adapt or work in keto eventually.
So let's get into the meat and potatoes, but you're not allowed to have potatoes on keto.
He's my comedian for the video, obviously. So stick to the basics. We follow what we call like a lazy keto lifestyle. So we're not super strict. We don't track our macros. We don't even count like our carbohydrates throughout the day anymore. We've just kind of gotten to where we know what we can eat and what we can't eat. So that's just kind of how we do things.
So a good thing to kind of start is to try to stay, she says we don't count our carbohydrates, but of course we still look at all of our cans to make sure what we're taking in, and just do a mental note of trying to stay between 20 to 30 carbs a day. That's the main thing. I don't think we've touched on that yet.
No.
I think that's kind of what we set out was, okay, we're going to stay between 20 and 30 carbs for the entire day. So that's basically like a bag of chips. But you get your carbs from a lot of your vegetables. Mm-hmm. So that's a good little rule of thumb.
Yeah, and So for us, we researched a lot of recipes. I have a Pinterest board that I have a lot of recipes pinned that I usually use. But I will say keto, you're going to mainly cut out all of your major carbs.
Which are?
Your bread.
Bread.
Pasta. Potatoes. All of your fruit.
Chips,
potatoes, pastas. Corn, beans. Those are like your main starches and / carbs that you eat throughout the day. And unfortunately, sweet potatoes as well. Those are all options that you can no longer have on keto. So anything that's going to spike your insulin and cause anything like that to happen in your body is pretty much stuff that you want to stay away from. So you're mainly going to start eating high-fat diet, semi to low protein, and then you're going to have your vegetables. So like your fats you're going to get from avocados, you're going to get it from butter, olive oil. You're allowed to eat fattier meats now, where before we were eating ground turkey all the time, and it was like we thought that was, you know, it was a leaner option, so it's better. But on this diet, you're actually allowed to eat like really fatty meats like steak and pot roast and fajita meat with butter. I mean, those are all things that you can have on this diet. So yeah, I'll tell you kind of what recipes we make and what we eat a lot of, and also some items that we've found at the store that we eat usually all the time. So we eat a lot of eggs. You're allowed to have heavy cream, full fat creamer. All of our vegetables that we usually eat are raw green beans, zucchini, Brussels sprouts. Cauliflower is a great substitute for potatoes. Since you can't have potatoes, cauliflower to us is almost like eating mashed potatoes, because the cauliflower I usually make, I'll get it in the steam bags. I'll put it in the microwave, and then I'll put bacon bits on it with cheese and sour cream, mix it all together, and it's like having loaded mashed potatoes, in our opinion. And I use cauliflower for a lot of my casseroles as like a filler, and it's super, super good for you. So that's just something that we do. Going into ketosis for us.
Muscle cramps, they suck so bad.
So when you go into ketosis, this is mainly whenever your body starts changing from burning carbs to burning fat, which is the ultimate. That's exactly what you want to do, because obviously you're going to want to burn fat before you burn carbs. So usually what your body was used to was any carbs that you were intaking, that's what it was burning first, and then it would burn fat. Where now when you switch over, it's pretty much fat is the first thing that it's going to burn for energy. So it's a shock for your body to go through that. So you'll definitely start noticing signs of going into ketosis. You'll have headaches, like he said, muscle cramps. I had a lot of anxiety and panic, which is just, I've always dealt with it, but it just was like escalated whenever I went into ketosis. And we were kind of tired and foggy. And I will tell you that it's the hardest part of this entire diet, because it makes you want to quit every single day until you get through it, until your body kind of adapts and gets used to it. For me, it lasted a couple weeks.
You can kind of ease the effects of going into it by really drinking water. I watched a video on YouTube that basically was telling you that it's not really, like they call it the keto flu. It's basically just your body being super dehydrated and being deprived of your electrolytes and vitamins. So another thing we did at the beginning was to supplement with magnesium and potassium. And those are good, especially with muscle cramps.
So yeah, drink lots of water and try to get your electrolytes any way that you can. You can research that and kind of see what the best options or easiest options are to get your electrolytes in, because that'll help you to kind of to ease the side effects that come with going into ketosis. So
you're gonna lose a lot of water weight at first. Honestly, within the first few weeks, I saw a pretty big jump. Now, then again, I was very heavy. But I would say that you're going to lose a ton of water weight at first, and that's kind of where your muscle cramps are coming from, because your body's not retaining water like it used to when you were intaking carbohydrates.
Yeah, carbs kind of
retain
water in your system, and so whenever you switch over from that, you're going to lose a lot of water weight. And throughout this diet, when you continue to do it, you're going to be dehydrated a lot, so you have to drink a ton of water. So that's ketosis, kind of what happened with us. And with me personally, it was a little bit worse than it was for him.
Also, we cut out all sugars as well.
Yeah.
All sugars.
Yeah.
There's sugar substitutes or like stevia that you can take for sweeteners, but for the most part, cutting out all sugars.
Yeah, so my eating ice cream 3 times a week was like I couldn't do that anymore. And sweets were a really hard thing for me. So to completely cut that out was difficult for me and for my body. But I will say after about a month of doing this and no cheating, it got a lot easier. I didn't crave it anymore. I didn't think about it. It was something that it just kind of dissipated for me. And for him as well, he wasn't really craving Cokes like he did before. He was a big Coke drinker, and
I was a Coca-Cola addict.
Yes, he was a Coke addict, pretty much. So yeah, it was.
Kind.
Yeah, it was. It got a lot easier as we continued to do the diet and we didn't cheat. And on keto, I'm gonna be honest, you can't cheat, because the moment you do, you're gonna start craving all those things all over again, and you will feel like crap.
So this keeps you. This diet will keep you on the straight and narrow.
It keeps you accountable. Nothing has ever worked for us like this diet.
Yeah, you don't want to cheat because you feel like dookie.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to go back through that ketosis process all over again every single time you cheat. So I will say that's a good rule of thumb to know that in this diet, if you think that you're going to cheat every once in a while and not feel bad, you will. Physically, your body will feel ill and sick and nauseous and all of the things, anxious, like all the things that you kind of felt when you went into ketosis. Your body's going to have to go all the way back through that again to get back. And it almost keeps you from wanting to ever cheat because you don't want to have to go back through that again. So I'll just kind of go through what I eat on a daily basis. So I drink a lot of black coffee, and unfortunately you can't have sugar in your coffee. You can put stevia in your coffee, and you can also put, heavy cream or full fat powdered creamer in your coffee.
That would be preferred after your intermittent fasting. So if you're actually intermittent fasting, you don't want to have anything. Some people say you shouldn't even have coffee, but your best bet's to drink. And I know a lot of people out there are like, oh no, black coffee is disgusting, but you'll develop a taste for it, and it's actually delicious. I know Haley had a little bit of a harder time converting over to black coffee, but once you start drinking it, you actually start appreciating coffee. But with that being said, when you wake up until 11 o'clock or 12, whichever one you decide to do, stick to black coffee and water.
That's really all you can have.
Or teas.
So pretty much in the mornings, I only have black coffee, and I'll probably have 2 cups. I've gotten used to drinking it only because of the fact that once you stop eating sugar, coffee actually kind of starts to begin to taste sweet to you. And you get kind of used to drinking it black, because unfortunately, until you can actually start eating after your fasting time, you can't have any type of creamer in your coffee until that 11 or 12 o'clock time. So I get up and I drink my black coffee, and then I usually will eat like 3 to 4 fried eggs with grated cheese and bacon bits. That's kind of something that I love to eat. And then you can have hot sauce on them. So hot sauce is usually like 1 to 0 carbs, so that's something that I always do.
Hot sauce is your best friend.
And avocado. So you can also have bacon for breakfast in the morning. You have sausage links, your fattier meats. That's something that you can have with your breakfast. So ground sausage. I found like a keto sausage ball recipe that I love. So those are things that you can have for breakfast in the mornings. Then usually around lunchtime, I like to either have a salad with full fat ranch or with deli meat on it, or I'll have like a lettuce wrapped deli meat sandwich with my mayo and mustard, and I'll do pickles on it and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'll have as like a sandwich for lunch. And then I'll have pecans on the side as like my chips. So I've kind of learned to kind of give me the same crunch effect and satisfying my craving for, a sandwich and chips. That's kind of what I've been able to do for myself as far as lunch. And then dinner, I mainly will always have, I like to try new recipes, but I kind of stick to the same ones as well, which I'll go over that with y'all as far as what I make for dinner. I will say with salads, you do really need to be careful with your dressing choices. You really need to read all of the labels. So, for example, on the back of a label, you're gonna see your carbohydrates, and then per serving, and then you're gonna see your dietary fiber as well underneath that. So how you know what your net carbs are per item, you're pretty much going to subtract the dietary fiber from the carb count on the label. So like, let's say the entire jar is 12 grams of carbs and the dietary fiber is like 8 grams of dietary fiber. So technically the entire bottle is, I'm terrible with math, 4 grams of carbs for the entire bottle. So that's actually not too bad if you stick to what the serving size is. So for me, that's just kind of how we read labels and how we stay within our carb count per day. Again, we do about 20 to 30 carbs a day. Snacks that we eat, because we're eating bigger meals throughout the day, we really don't snack much. I maybe will have one snack after lunch and maybe one after dinner. If I eat dinner at 4:30 or 5 o'clock because I'm hungry, I will probably have a snack right before 8 o'clock at night, and then I'm done for the day. So snacks you can have nuts, string cheese, deli meat, beef jerky, boiled eggs, half of an avocado, glass of almond milk, a small salad, pickles, pepperoni slices with cream cheese is like his favorite, also mine as well. And you can have pork rinds with salsa if you wanted to do that. You can also make dips.
Yeah, pork rinds are your keto chips.
Yeah.
I mean, some people have to develop the taste for it. Haley hasn't quite gotten there, but
not a pork rind fan, but he loves them. But you know,
pork rinds.
Do you if that's something that you like? Because I wish I did, because I miss chips a lot and that crunch. But
some crunch in your lunch.
But yeah, pork rinds are an option. So you can make pork rinds with a keto dip, like you can even do an onion
you can
dip.
do just a regular queso with pork rinds.
Yeah. All right, so dinner. Jalapeno sausage is like our number one. So
number one. Quick and easy.
This is the sausage that I pick up from Kroger. Again, everything I'm about to show you, we get at Kroger. And I know that pretty much everywhere has a Kroger. So HEBs are only down here in Houston, so I tried not to pick anything out that was from HEB. But this is the sausage that we get from Kroger. And it is 0 carbs. So you can eat this entire thing on keto and you can have it all and as much as you want. So what I'll usually do is I'll slice it up and then I will pan fry it pretty much until it gets super crispy, because that's how I like it. But this is so good and it takes 5 minutes to cook, and you can have it for breakfast, whenever you want. So this is something that we always have on hand all the time.
Pair that up with some green beans.
So I roast all of my veggies. So I pretty much bake every single vegetable that I have in my house, only because it gets crispy and the flavor is so good. And pretty much how I roast all of my veggies, which the main ones I cook are like, the raw green beans, cauliflower, broccoli, zucchini, and Brussels sprouts. Those are like our top that we cook all the time.
Are actually delicious.
Cabbage.
Tell this audience how you make them Brussels sprouts, because those things are so good.
So I pretty much buy the Brussels sprouts in a bag, and then I chop them in half. I lay them out on the pan, and then I put olive oil all over it. I put lemon pepper, salt and pepper, and then I put Parmesan cheese on it. Cheese. And I bake it at 375 for about 30 minutes. And I'm telling y'all, they're so good. Delicious. So if you don't like Brussels sprouts, try them that way, and I promise you may like them.
See, Brussels sprouts and probably the green beans. Her green beans are my 2 favorite vegetables. I can eat those every single day. I actually request it.
I really, honestly, I cook all my vegetables the exact same with the exact same seasoning, and they all come out so good. So that's how I cook my vegetables. Cabbage is also, my stepmom was the one that actually taught me this. But you take a whole head of cabbage and you slice it into small, like circular slices. You lay them out on the pan. You put olive oil, garlic, salt and pepper, and then you, again, bake them in the oven. And you bake them at, like, I think it's at 375 or 425 for about 30 minutes. And the outsides, like, crisp up and get crunchy. And oh my gosh, y'all, it's so good. So those are our veggies, how we cook them. our sausage, which is a huge staple in our house. We also do a lot of lettuce burgers, so you can even get pre-made patties from the grocery store if you don't feel like, you know, forming patties and cooking them yourself. Or you can, you know, make your own ground beef patties at home, and then you can just wrap them in a head of lettuce, or you get the head of lettuce and you can wrap them in lettuce and put your condiments on them and eat it that way. I love to do buffalo shredded chicken in a crock pot. Buffalo sauce is usually like no carbs at all. So that's something that I like to cook with a packet of cream cheese, chicken breasts, and the buffalo sauce in the crock pot, and it makes a super good just buffalo shredded chicken. You again can put that in lettuce and kind of have like a buffalo lettuce wrap with bacon if you wanted to do that. Pot roast, it's a fattier piece of meat, but it's so good and something that also is very satisfying. And you can do that with onions and beef broth in your crock pot. Again, super easy meal that I love to do all the time.
Or bone broth.
Yeah, bone broth, yeah. Zucchini lasagna, that's like one of Cody's absolute favorites. I've found that on Pinterest as well. 95% of what I've learned how to cook I've found on there. But I did have to research a low carb pasta sauce, and this was the best one that I found. Again, I got this at Kroger, but it's the Rouse homemade tomato sauce. And for the entire thing, it is 5 servings at 4 grams of carbs.
20.
So it's 20 grams of carbs for the entire bottle.
Damn.
But obviously, if you're just using it for an entire dish, you're not going to sit there and eat 20 grams of carbs in one sitting. I would hope not. So unless you're going to sit there and eat the entire lasagna, this is something that you can still stay low carb with and have some pasta sauce, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So the zucchini lasagna, pretty much I ground up the beef, or you could do ground sausage. I did that the other night. It tasted really good. And then you slice your zucchini in longer slices, and then you lay down your zucchini at the bottom of the pan. Then you just layer it. So it's pretty much you're going to put your ground beef, mozzarella cheese, you're going to put your pasta sauce, and
Zucchini
then
is basically
layer
your
it
pasta.
again. So your zucchini is basically the noodles. So it's replacing that. Stuffed bell peppers, fathead pizza. There are keto pizza options that you can look up. The fathead dough is personally our favorite. That's the one that I usually cook the most. Again, that one's on my Pinterest page.
I'll link it below.
But it's mainly a dough made out of cheese. So it's like cheesy bread pizza, which, hello, it's delicious. You will notice that you're going to eat a lot of cheese on this diet. If that's something that kind of makes you nervous, you can still do this diet without as much dairy and cheese, but we eat a lot of cheese, so.
Sometimes that bites you.
Yeah, in the beginning, you may have some issues with that, but eventually your body adapts and gets used to it. At least that's how it was for us, but we eat a lot of cheese, and that's something that's satisfying to us. But you can still work around that, and you don't have to eat near as much cheese as we do, but we do. Chicken thighs, that's another thing that I love to make. They're fattier chicken pieces, or it's fattier chicken, which once it's baked in the oven, it's so good and has such good flavor. But you can have those fattier cuts of meat and it's satisfying, and that's why I like to try to find those pieces of meat, like cuts of meat that are going to be rich and satisfying, because when you're not eating carbs, that's really something that you look for and that you desperately need in this diet. So don't be afraid to have steak. Don't be afraid to have, you know, shredded brisket or stuff like that. Those are things that you can eat on this diet. So I'm also going to show you like our sweet fixes. So I had a huge sweet tooth. It's taken a long time for us to be able to find things that we can have that's sweet. But you'll find when you research keto that a lot of people talk about Lily's chocolate. So this is kind of what the chocolate bar looks like. And here, this is the salted almond. This is my personal favorite. There's also a salted caramel chocolate bar. But pretty much for the entire thing, it says the total carbs is 21 grams of carbs, and there's 2 servings, but the dietary fiber is 11 grams, and then the erythritol is 6 grams. So you'll actually subtract the dietary fiber and the erythritol from the carb count. So I think it brings it down to, what, 8 carbs for the entire bar. So what we do at night is we literally just break off like a row to ourselves, and that's what we'll eat as kind of like a sweet dessert. I also drink a ton of coffee when I want something sweet. That's mainly like my thing. I can even have decaf at night if I really want something sweet and filling. We drink a ton of coffee. And you can even have hot tea if that's something that you're not a big coffee drinker. You can have that as well.
I had a lot of hot tea at one point.
Yeah. I also found a couple weeks ago, this is called the Too Good yogurt. And it's pretty much Greek yogurt, but it's flavored. So we have the vanilla, the blueberry, and the strawberry in our fridge. But this entire thing is 2 grams of carbs. And I thought that was a find because I ate so much yogurt before, and being able to find this and it actually tastes good was a huge hit for me.
And if you want to change it up, put some cacao in there, which is like Hershey's. I'm gonna get it.
You can also find like Lily's dark chocolate chips, and you can put that in here too, and add it to your yogurt if you wanted to do that.
100% cacao. Oh boy. Right, cheers. Just put you a little bit of that in there, and it makes it taste delicious.
Yeah.
It's very bitter.
Like you can't eat it by itself, but you can add it to shakes and stuff like that. So one of our other favorites that I found were these Parmesan cheese crisp. So these are literally 1 gram of carbs for 23 of the little crisp. And I think there's only 2 servings per container. So it's literally 2 grams of carbs for this entire bag. So again, I've had this with some salsa and I love it. Add them to your salads, but these are really good and a good find that we found as well. So remember I was telling y'all that Cody drank a ton of Cokes before.
Coke addict.
Literally. So on this diet, obviously you can't have Coke. You're really not supposed to have Diet Coke. So we had to find something that was going to satisfy the carbonation fix that we both wanted so badly.
Carbonation.
So everyone talks so badly about LaCroix, and some of you may love it, but a lot of people I've talked to hate it.
You just gotta get past it. It's just that initial, like, you drink and it's not sweet at all, and you're so used to drinking Cokes and not syrupy taste, and you're not gonna get that with these.
But give you a couple months on this diet, and when you're so desperate for carbonation, I promise you, it's really not gonna be that bad, and you're gonna actually probably like it. But I will say that we found this seltzer water from Kroger, and it's actually seltzer water with a hint of Dr. Pepper flavor.
Delicious.
And y'all, I'm telling you, so good. This is my absolute favorite that I've ever found. I do love LaCroix. The key lime flavor is my favorite. But finding this, it's like the closest to Coke that I could find. And they even have a Coca-Cola flavored one, but this one's my favorite because it's sweeter. But again, 0 carbs, 0 sugar. So you can drink as many of these as you want. So it's literally carbonated water, but it has some really good flavor. The other one that we got at Kroger that's our favorite is the Blackberry Citrus carbonated water from Kroger. Again, these are both Kroger brands. So you won't find these anywhere else except for at Kroger. But these are our favorites.
I've had that bad boy since day one.
Yep, we've been drinking that one for a long time.
So I guess you got a lot of people that aren't going to want to cook every day, of course. So let's get into our favorite restaurants.
Yeah.
Keto restaurants.
So Five Guys.
Five Guys, yes. We just had that today.
We did.
It was absolutely delicious.
It was.
3 patties.
He had 3 patties. Which is cool. On keto, you can eat more meat. You still have to try to be careful with that. You're not supposed to have as much protein as we eat now, but again, we're not strict keto.
Not
it's
really
just
keto. We're more low carb, I would say.
Yeah.
Following keto fundamentals.
But they do bacon or lettuce wrap burgers there, and we get the bacon cheeseburger. That's usually what we get. So it's so good. The fries are really hard for me not to get there, but we'll sit there and eat the peanuts instead of the fries. So we've kind of learned it's just what it is. So another one of our favorites is Chick-fil-A. There's a salad there that we both really, really love. It's the Southwest salad, but you just have to ask for it without corn or beans. and you can get the avocado lime ranch, and that's usually something that we'll always eat, or the grilled chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A is something that you can also have with the buffalo sauce and ranch. You can have that with it as well. So
I would say one of my favorite places is Chipotle.
Their ingredients aren't really the best for you. I read that the other day, but
we've eaten a lot.
We still eat it as
basically,
like a
you get the
cheat,
salad,
you know. But we get the salad, like you were saying. And how do you get yours?
A salad with both of the meats, sour cream, cheese. What else do I put? Guacamole. So I do
and
eat.
pico.
I still eat avocados. Pico. I think that's it, right?
Yeah. So you can get the salad and kind of put whatever you want on it, except for
no,
the
you
corn.
can't have the corn. The corn is delicious though.
Can't have the rice or the beans.
Booty.
But I mean, it still ends up being filling, and we're the most satisfied whenever we eat there because we're pretty full by the time we leave. Last but not least, Wingstop.
Oh my goodness, Wingstop.
That is like our cheat meal. If we're going to cheat or eat more calories or a little more carbs than what we normally eat, that's where we go.
Now, where she's saying is cheat meal, whenever you're doing this diet, you never want to do a carb cheat where you're actually taking in, stick within your carb range. But if you're going to have a cheat day, cheat on your calories. Like overload, go to Wingstop, eat you 20 wings, but don't go all out and get French fries and stuff like that, because you're gonna basically go backwards, and you're not gonna feel good. So when we say cheat meal, we mean cheat with your calories, not with your carbs.
And you're not gonna go there and get boneless wings because they're fried and breaded. So we go there and we get the flats with lemon pepper, and you have to make sure to not get the sauce. You have to check your sauces as well. So pretty much all of their dry rub seasonings are things that you most likely can have. It just can't be sugar based. So
the main thing is do your research. Like if everything from like what we said at the beginning is do your research. I mean, you're gonna learn more. We're just giving you some ideas and the things that we've gone through in some of our favorite foods. The main thing is to do your research and find out what you can and can't eat. At the beginning, we researched everything.
Yeah.
Everything we put into our body, we looked up on Google. Google's your best friend.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Wingstop, I mean, you can research, keto, what can you eat on keto, or low carb options at Wingstop, and it'll give you a list and the amount of carbs that are in each one. So there's a few of them, like garlic parmesan, and I think the Cajun one maybe. Lemon pepper is the best one by far.
Yeah. And so keto's become such a big thing now that you can usually say, I'm going to McDonald's, what can I have that's keto? And usually you can like look up, people have said, okay, if I have to go eat there, this is what I get. Personally, we always go and we get the McDoubles without the bun, and we just eat the meat out of the inside. They do have salads too as well. So it's just like you can figure something out when you go out, or if
you're on a pinch and you're just trying to, let's say you're making a road trip, you're hungry and you can't find anything that's keto or low carb, we just go and find a hamburger joint and just pull the buns off.
Yeah, you just pull the buns and the bread off of everything. Sandwiches, same
Wendy's
thing.
is probably the best. Was it Jack's Triple? No.
That would be Jack in the Box.
Okay. Yeah, whatever. Wendy's is good, the triple cheeseburger with cheese. And they'll give it to you on a platter, and I feel like a lot of people are doing this now. So the restaurant industry or the fast food industry is starting to they'll end up giving it to you on a platter with some spoons and some mayonnaise. Make sure you get your mayonnaise on the side. Oh yeah, and ketchup. Ketchup's a no-go. There's a lot of sugar in that, but you can get low sugar.
No sugar added ketchup.
No sugar added ketchup, and barbecue. Barbecue's loaded in sugar. You can get no sugar added barbecue, which we have one. I think it's Daniel's or something. Delicious.
Yeah. So, again, over time, you're going to make mistakes, because we made a ton of mistakes in the beginning. And in the beginning, we were way more strict than we are now. I mean, we've lost a good amount of weight, so we're starting to we're not eating carbs still, but we're still, having more calories and maybe being a little more lenient on like having the sugar-free barbecue sauce and adding that to our sausage and doing more things like that.
We're taking in probably a little more carbs than what we did at the beginning.
We're not as strict of reading every single label that we put into our bodies and making sure that it's under this certain amount of carbs per day. But we've kind of gotten to a point to where we can do that. But I will say in the beginning we were a lot more strict because we were so conscious of not wanting to get out of ketosis because of how miserable it was for us to get into it. So now it's gotten a lot easier. But if you have questions or have any,
we can't cover everything in a video. I mean, this thing's already long enough as it is, but
yeah, I'm sure it's already annoying to sit here and watch all this anyways, but
we keep rambling.
Yeah, we probably could. And it was a very disorganized video, so I apologize. But if you have questions or anything like that, definitely, message us on Facebook or comment, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. I will say that Cody and I had tried a lot of different diets before ever finding anything that ever worked for us, and we honestly thought we were going to be that big for the rest of our lives.
Absolutely.
And because we weren't forced, but we felt that it was there was no other option but for us to lose weight. This was something that really worked for us, and we have so many people that are asking us how we did it, and keto works. It really honestly does, and we have energy. We feel happier. We are able to fit in clothes that we never thought we could. And even the other day, we lost all this weight without any exercise. We were on our feet all day at work, but other than that, we didn't go to the gym or go and have any specific type of exercise plan. But the other day I was like, you know what? I want to go running. I was like, I'm just going to go and just see how I do, if I can even do it. And I actually went out there and I was able to run almost 2 miles without stopping.
That's without working out for 10 months.
Yeah. But
Crazy.
I owe it to our diet and losing the weight and being able to actually have the stamina to do it on my own. So honestly, it's worked for us, and I know it can work for you. Just do your research and see what's best for your family and for your lifestyle. But if you kind of stick to the rules that we kind of told you that we follow, some of the recipes that we use, you can definitely do that and intermittent fast and do all of those things to kind of help kickstart it for you and help you to lose the water weight as well in the beginning. And you'll feel like, when you see that first 5 pounds lost on the scale, it motivates you to keep going.
Absolutely.
So intermittent fasting is huge, and I would suggest that for a lot of people. Even if you're not going to do keto, maybe try fasting and see what that does for you personally. Thank y'all for watching, and if you have questions, please don't be afraid to ask, and we love y'all, and we appreciate those of you who have asked us questions and who have wanted to know more about how we did this. We appreciate it.
Yeah, feel free to send us messages, direct messages, slide into my DMs.
This is the only way I would allow you to slide into his DMs if it's about keto. Okay.
Or low carb.